So hello everybody, welcome to the Mitzveh Masuot, the Torches Lookout, and Yom Yerushalayim Sameach, Happy Yom Yerushalayim. We have a double celebration today. One is for Yom Yerushalayim, for 53 years of United Jerusalem. And the second one is our first anniversary of the renewal of the Sifting project up here in the Masuot Lookout. We have a very good lookout, as you can see. This is why we insist on starting outside, although it's very, very windy today. What you can see behind me is Jerusalem, both. What we're trying to do in our project is actually find out the ancient secrets of the Temple Mount. 53 years ago, on the same ridge I'm standing on, Mount of Olives, stood Colonel Motagur, the commander of the Israeli troops that broke into the old city, thus ending 19 years of separation of the two parts of Jerusalem. Before going into the sifting site, I want Lev Simcha, my assistant here, to turn the camera so we can see our sifting place. And okay, and you can see that we are situated inside a pine grove, which saw one of the fierce battles in 1967, Six Days War. This is the route through which the troopers broke into Mount of Olives, and even the company commander, Giora Ashkenazi, was shot by a bullet between these trees on the course of going to Mount of Olives. So this is both a solemn moment of many casualties made, and working here in the Masuot Lookout, first of all, I feel privileged to have the right to do this work, and I also feel very thankful to those that enable us to do it. If these are the soldiers that fought here 53 years ago, and all the rest of the people that are responsible for us being able to do this work right here today. Okay, about 200,000 people came and volunteered and took part in our work, found a lot of amazing things. And about 3 years ago, we had to stop Temple Mount sifting down in the valley. And so we got to resume it exactly 1 year ago up here in the Masuot Lookout. The meaning of the name Masuot Lookout is the lookout of the bonfires or the torches that were lit on top of mountains in ancient times to deliver messages. The Mishnah tells us about delivering the message about the new month. They didn't use the calendar. They waited for 2 witnesses to come to the Temple Mount, testify they saw the new moon, and then the word was sent out by the bonfires. We have a direct view to the Temple Mount, and this is a good candidate to be the first lookout point. And from here, the word of the new month spread to all the diaspora. If we didn't say it, if we're not aware, today is the first day of the Jewish month of Sivan, and so it means the torches were lit last night. I suggest we will go now to the sifting point, and I think this will be the first remote sifting done in English in the history of the universe. So I'm a little bit excited. Let's go. Coming into the sifting installations, you see the different stations for sifting. You see the buckets full of Temple Mount earth, and we're going to choose this sifter, this one. Okay, so Any of those of you that have been with us in the past recognize our sifter, okay? And we added a means of communication because the remote sifting is meant for people that cannot come over here. Today it's because of the coronavirus, but anybody that is far away and wants to take part in the sifting can call us and join the remote sifting. By the way, Tzachi, do we have a volunteer that wants to do the remote sifting with us right now? Anybody volunteered? Any courageous or brave person that wanted to join us? And anyway, by the time we are joined by someone, you can see that we added here this kind of coordinates or grid of letters and numbers that can enable you tell me which part of the sifter you want me to look for finds in. Now the first stage is knowing the 6 materials that we usually collect. So I've prepared here a few examples of the main materials, and the first material that we have somebody to join us.
Yes, we have one. Donald, I will unmute him in few minutes. Present all the finds.
Okay, so until they join us, the first material that we collect is pottery. Pottery was the main material used in ancient times to make vessels. It's actually baked clay. And although everything is broken here, it's broken because it was illegally dug by bulldozers. There's still a lot of things to learn from it. Here, this piece is a handle of a small juglet. Right here, we have a rim of a cooking pot, which is about 2,000 years old. This is the typical cooking pot in the 1st century of the Common Era. Sorry? Okay. And here is the mouth of an oil lamp, 2,000 years old, still with the ashes from the burning of the wick. Hi there. Is there someone joining us?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, welcome. What's your name?
My name's David.
Hi, David. David is an excellent name for Jerusalem. And David is also a name of a very courageous person. First English remote sifter. May I ask where are you from, David?
I'm from Oklahoma City in Oklahoma in the United States.
Okay, so welcome Oklahoma. I'm very glad to have you here. And David, did you see the first material that we're collecting? Pottery?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so we'll ask Lev Simcha to get the focus back. First material is pottery. Okay, so once I pour the contents of a bucket to the sifter and wash it, this is one of the main things that there is a possibility you will be able to find. Okay, the next material that we're finding and collecting is glass. So this is what ancient glass looks like. It's not always completely transparent. Usually it has bubbles in it, and in many cases it has beautiful colors. Okay, this is an example of a Byzantine suspended oil lamp. Well, it's broken, but it's about 1,600 years old, and this is what Roman glass looks like. Okay, next thing that we're collecting are
beads.
Mosaics. Mosaics were used to make floors, walls, sometimes ceilings.
That would make sense.
In ancient palaces, synagogues, churches, mosques, you see beautiful decorations on the floors. They're made of many, many squares like these that come in different colors and different sizes. The usual shape is a square, although sometimes we have triangles and others, but the main shape is a square. Okay, next we have bones. So the bones usually belong to animals that were either used or came about to the Temple Mount. This one is a bone coming from a knuckle in a leg of a sheep or a goat. And finding sheep or goat bones on the Temple Mount might come from sacrificial animals that were brought there for sacrifice. So there's great importance for the bones that we find. Sometimes we also find seashells that were deliberately brought from the sea, usually because they're nice, sometimes for other reasons. And of course, we want to collect them. We collect them together with the bones and with fossils as one category. Okay, the next category is metal. Here you can see an iron nail typical to ancient times. You can see the square shape of the nail. Such nails have been used for at least 2,000 years. Usually we find just bits of rust, but sometimes under the rust hides an interesting story. The last material or last category are special stones. Let's start with this. This is marble, and marble is not native to Jerusalem. So any stone that is not native to Jerusalem was brought over here, and that's human activity. That's what we're interested in archaeology. Another type of human activity is carving the stone. So here you can see a local Jerusalem stone with chisel marks. It's actually a corner of an ashlar stone for building, and so it's a special stone. Another type of special stone is plaster. Plaster, man-made, covering walls. When we find the surface of the wall, we collect it as a special stone. So these are the 6 materials that we usually collect. David, I hope that's good for you. That will be enough for you to be able to try and find out the things once we pour the bucket. Lev Simcha, can you turn the focal point over there? David, can you see the buckets over here? These buckets are full of Temple Mount earth. Do you want to choose a specific bucket?
יובל, זה לא דיוויד, זה דונלד שיעשה את זה.
דונלד? Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, this is Donald.
Donald. Okay.
We have a Donald and a David.
Okay. Both are welcome. So any one of you, would you like to choose one of the buckets? Starting with the corner, 3 buckets over there, 5 buckets up. You want to choose a bucket. One of the things we take pride in is
Okay,
the authenticity.
third one from the left. I don't care.
Third one from the left. You mean this one?
Yes.
Okay, let's see what's hiding in the bucket. One of the frequently asked questions is, do we put things in the bucket? The answer is no, with a capital N. So I don't know what's going to hide in the bucket. And this is the exciting part. And we need to make sure nothing remains in the bucket. And now it's time to wash the material, to wash all the mud. And once you wash all the mud, you begin seeing colors and shapes. And in a minute, Donald and David will try to, point me out so I can start collecting stuff from the bucket. Okay, do you have a clear view of what's in the sifter? Lev Simcha, maybe a little bit closer, as close as possible. You can use the grid we have, the numbers and the letters. So find the crossing between a letter and a number.
We need to see the letters, please.
They don't see the letters.
Here we go.
Then you see letters.
About
Number.
C3.
C3.
Looks like a rim from here.
C3.
Right where your finger is. Right
This one
there.
right here.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the bingo. Very good. You have here pottery shard. It's quite muddy. Let's wash it. Okay, so we have here a pottery shard. It looks like a part of a large storage vessel, and we're going to collect it in one of our 6 cups over here. Very good. That's a good start. Okay, anything else? Are you able to see this line up to the B or A?
Yeah, B1, there's another piece of pottery, it looks like.
Okay, B1. Very good.
Right there.
Another
Yep.
piece of pottery.
Looks
Very
like
good.
a pottery shard.
Yeah, yeah. Is this Donald or David that
Right now it's Donald, but David, type in whenever you want to, sir.
you're welcome. First thing that you see, just point me to. You want me to help you?
I was going to give David a chance.
Okay.
Okay, about B3.
B3.
Looks like almost like a straight right there. No,
This one?
no.
Okay, we have here
Although
another
that's a
pottery
nice
shard.
one, yeah. Yeah.
You mean this?
That looks like bone from here.
Okay. We have here a very nice example of plaster. Let's wash it.
Okay, plaster, okay.
Yeah, this is very, very fine grained white plaster. This is a very nice example of fine grained plaster. This is probably what Romans call stucco, and walls covered with stucco were bright white, and sometimes they made decorations in the plaster, floral imitations and other stuff. So this is very nice. That's a special stone. Okay.
Looks like there's some
Anything
more
else
in
this
B3.
area? B3.
A big piece in B3, a white piece.
This one.
Almost B2, yeah.
Okay, so this is a natural local stone. Looks nice,
Okay.
white, but it's the flatness is natural. We'll put it aside. Okay.
Is there a piece of bone in B3? I see something
B3.
about in the.
I don't see here any piece of bone, but maybe you
It's a
see
little.
things that I don't see. We have here another piece of stucco, fine grained plaster, and I'm gonna check
What's
B3.
that?
We have here small pieces of pottery, these small shards. Now, usually the small shards are not very exciting, but every once in a while, small pottery shards could give great meaning if they're indicative, or sometimes they might be seal impressions. Okay, I think we've cleared B3. I don't see any bones here. Here we have another piece of pottery.
What about C3?
C3. Okay, C3. This area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's
So we
that big
have
white
here
thing there?
this white thing?
Yeah, no, big
One
one.
or this one? Okay,
Yeah.
all these are natural stones. All these
Okay.
are natural stones. We'll put them aside. This looks like a piece of gravel. Could be part of the garbage the Islamic Waqf dumped Temple Mount Earth into. We'll put it aside. And let's clear B3. That's the way to play bingo, isn't it? Clear out each square at a time. Okay, I would recommend you looking at B2. Actually, it's a little bit hard because it's transparent, but can you see it now?
Very good.
A big piece of glass. Let's collect it right here.
Is that modern glass?
Yeah, it looks like modern glass.
Thank you.
And one of the special things about our project is that we collect modern stuff as well as ancient stuff. Most of it will be discarded, but only after we count it. So we're probably one of the only projects in archaeology in the world that does the statistics, including modern stuff. And this has a lot of meaning when you start interpreting your finds. Maybe later Professor Balkai will elaborate on that, or stuff in their lecture. Do you want to look for more stuff, or do you want me to start methodically checking?
What's up there between B and C at 1? It looks like there's a square piece right against the rock. Or, yeah, right there by your
This
finger.
one?
Back.
Or this one?
No, not, yeah,
The
that
flat
one.
piece? Okay,
No, the one your other hand is on.
Gravel.
Yeah.
And this was the natural
Okay.
local stone. We'll
Okay,
put
I
it
couldn't
aside.
tell.
Yeah. Look at this. Can you tell from far away what this is?
That's a tesserae, isn't it?
Very good. The tesserae is a single mosaic, and it's a big one, and it still has remains of the plaster that put it together with the other mosaics into the floor. So this is nice. We'll collect it. Excuse me. Okay, any more things that you want to point me to? I think I'll start checking from one side to the other. And if you see another thing, tell me. But I think we'll be needing to keep on with the. Okay, we have here a small pebble. We'll collect it. We'll collect it as a special stone. Here's another piece of pottery. And we have here a piece of black bitumen, which is a special stone because there's no bitumen in Jerusalem. The black pieces were usually used for decoration and beautiful floors, like King Herod's floors of the Temple Mount. Here's another piece of glass. And more pottery. And as I said before, we never plant things in our buckets. So not every bucket is a wow, but sometimes after we wash the pottery shards, we find very interesting things in the process of sorting. Right here we have a bone. You can see the special texture of the bone. It's lighter than pottery and other stuff. And here we have a part of a shell. Okay, goes together with bone, more pottery, more plaster. And I think we are finished with this bucket. Now I understand the time is running, so I suggest we do what we usually do when we finish the work with people, which is a short summary. In the summary, we usually show interesting finds that we found on that day. On our summary, we'll show some of the nicer finds from the past few days and some interesting finds from the far past, just for the special festive occasions that we are in. Okay, so please join me. We're going to do it outside. Let's go. So this is a very special find. First of all, it's very big. It doesn't fit any bucket. And during the work of the walks, all the big stuff, columns made of marble and special stones, capitals, and other architectural pieces were kept on the Temple Mount deliberately. But every once in a while, they overlooked some of them. It was dug by a bulldozer. And this is one of the pieces that escaped and came out of the Temple Mount. Now, this is very, very special. You see here a round part. And here you see a square part that's broken. We actually have here a capital of a Dorian column. You know, the Greek classical world had main three orders of architecture that define and give all the details and dimensions of the different parts of architecture, of large monumental buildings, temples, and so on. The Doric or Dorian order is considered the oldest of the classical style, And we have here a capital from the southern part of the Temple Mount in this classic style. If we look for a candidate, which building might it have belonged to? Well, the time period is Second Temple period. Now, the main builder that is known of Second Temple period is King Herod, and King Herod is known for building the royal portico or the royal stoa on the southern part of the Temple Mount. But the royal portico was built in Corinthian style, and this is older than that. So if we look for candidates for large monumental buildings on the Temple Mount before King Herod, it's probably the Hasmoneans, the Hashmonaim, and we might have here one of the capitals of the Hashmonean buildings, of the porticos surrounding the Temple Mount before King Herod. So this is a very, very special and exciting find. Now we'll move closer and see some small finds. By the way, here's the reconstruction of capital at the top of a column holding the frieze, and we also found parts of the triglyphs from the Dorian architecture. Okay, so I'll show you a few finds from the past few days and then some finds that are interesting to see. First, quite colorful, are these wall tiles from the Ottoman period. These wall tiles actually make up the main color that you see on the Temple Mount under the Dome of the Rock. Can you point to this? You see the golden dome has under it all these bluish parts, which are made up or decorated by Ottoman tiles, such as these. Now, this is the more usual type, but over here we have different colors, black and yellow, and this is a tile that originally had a triangle shape. We see the points over here. We see one of the angles right here, another one over here, and another one over here. So we have a triangle tile that has a hole for it that was used for a metal rod that used to hold it together with the next tile. This is a very recent find from the past few days. Another find from the past few days is this very small but beautiful glass bead. You see the bluish greenish color of the bead, a hole running through all of it, and this could be as old as 2,000 years old. Okay. One of the things that most people want to find are coins. Here we have one of the coins found in the previous days, and it's very, very thin, it's small, and it has a hole punched into it. The coin is probably Ottoman, Turkish, and the reason for punching the hole is because sometimes coins were used to make jewelry. Sometimes a whole dowry of the Bedouin girl was put on her veil, and this is probably the reason for the hole through this small coin. Another coin just found a few days ago is this coin. Probably looks like a blur of mud with a little green shade into it. This shape of a coin, which is irregular, is usually the shape of Hasmonean, Hashmonaim coins. And to give you the idea of how a clean coin looks like, I brought you from our lab a coin that passed cleaning, which is probably the same type of a coin. So here we have cleaner coin. That's how it looks like when it returns from the lab. You see in the middle, the cornucopia, a Hellenistic symbol, the two horns of bounty, and in the middle, a pomegranate. Now, if I turn the other side of the coin, you see a blur of writing, and what it says in the ancient Hebrew script is Yehochanan HaKohen HaGadol Zechever HaYehudim. Yehochanan, John, the high priest and the council of Jews. So this John is Yochanan Horkanos, the first John Hyrcanos. So this coin is about 2,120 years old. Chever HaYehudim could probably be the Sanhedrin, the gathering of the Jews that judge the people. Okay, I'm going to show you another coin that was just found a couple of days ago. And then I'll show you the recent counterpart. So this coin has the feel, the shape, also irregular but larger and thicker, of revolt coins, coins from the Jewish revolt. So we brought you a clean coin from the same period. And right here, you can see a coin. You might be able to see the vine leaf in the center of the coin. And the other side of the coin has on it an amphora, a kind of a jug. You can see the two handles from the two sides. The bottom is over here, the top is over here. One side of the coin, it gives us the date of the coin. The date is year 2, the second year of the Jewish revolt against the Romans, which would be around the year 67 in the common calendar. The other side of the coin tells us Cherut Zion, for the freedom of Zion, of Zion. And this is what they put on the revolt coins in the first, second, and third years. Okay? I don't know if you're feeling the terrible wind around us. Okay, here we have another coin from the Great Revolt. This coin is from year 4 of the revolt. That's about a year and a little before destruction of the temple. On this side, it has a chalice. On the other side, it has a lulav and etrogim, the 4 species, the arbaat haminim. And the inscription on this coin, which is year 4, is for the redemption of Zion, not for the freedom of Zion, but for the redemption. We don't know the reason for the change in the inscription. Maybe because the Romans are already about and freedom looks harder to get. And as we all know, the end was not a happy end. The end was destruction. So a find that is connected to destruction is this very, very small nail made of iron, very, very rusty. It's not a very special find. We find a lot of these nails, but this nail actually, I can say, gives me the shivers, because this is the nail putting together the sole of a Roman army boot, known in Latin as the caliga. So the Roman legionnaires that burned the temple wear these on their feet. And when I see these, we see them quite often, I feel destruction. I feel destruction, and this is very, very solemn. So to end our session in a more festive way, we have more finds, we have more weapons. We have a few modern weapons found on the Temple Mount. Here we have bullets of a .5 Browning heavy machine gun. Right here, we have a 9mm bullet of an Uzi submachine gun. And also found on the Temple Mount, we have this magazine, a magazine of an Uzi machine gun. And this is most probably from the 6 Days War. And I would say that in my eyes, this would be the answer to the Roman caliga and the destruction. Romans were able to destroy the temple, but Israel is back, and we are here in Jerusalem. We are here, and doing this work gives us a perspective of ancient times, of our heritage, and of Jerusalem. I think this would be a good time for answering questions if you have them. We'll try to answer some questions.
Yes, Yuval. Daniel Kesley is asking, can you explain what a volunteer does when sifting? Do they pick pieces and put them in plastic box, or do they ask someone for help before sorting?
Okay, basically, when people come over here, they get an explanation about the project and about how to do the work. They get examples of the materials that we collect, and then they start sifting. They choose buckets with material, they pour them, they sift, and they collect the material. Our way to make sure that somebody that is not an archaeologist did not make a grievous mistake is that after you finish finding all the finds that you found, one of our staff comes to check and see if you left out any special finds. As you saw, that ancient coins can sometimes look like stones, so it's quite common that people miss the coins. We help them find them, and of course, at the end of the work, we give an explanation about the meaning of the things that they found. So this is the basic work that volunteers that come here get to do. Volunteers that come for long term, meaning more than an activity of 2 hours, get to do some of the more just do some of the archaeological work and more things. Do you have more questions?
Okay, Yuval, thank you very much for this exciting live demonstration of the remote sifting. Of course, you know, this is not the real thing. So, but still, just the fact that people could do it from the couch at home and feel like they're taking part in discovering and unrevealing ancient Jerusalem. This is just this fact. It's exciting, and
I want to thank Donald and David that were I think the first English remote sifters that we had. I think they deserve an applause.
Thank you, David and Donald. And I also want to emphasize that we're going to improve the resolution. So now we're using the Zoom interface, and this is a large meeting, so the resolution is even reduced. But once someone books this remote sifting program, then we could choose. We correspond with them before it takes place, and then we can choose if to use a WhatsApp live video or a Facebook live video or FaceTime, and these other options have a much better quality, and then you can even see even smaller artifacts in a better way. So, so thank you, Yuval.